Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar about Alcon's journey to protecting their brand identity and equity on their packaging. I'm Linda Hadar, the Strategic Brand Account Manager at X-Rite Pantone. I work closely with brand CPGs, retailers, and designers to assist them in specifying and managing color in the packaging supply chain. Today, I will be your moderator for this webinar, and I'm thrilled to introduce our guest speaker, Dennis Simmons. Dennis is the manager of artwork and processes and systems at Alcon, and he will be sharing Alcon's color management journey with us. Hi, Dennis, and welcome.
Hey there, Linda. It's good to be with you. I've been with Alcon for 27 years, and over that time, my role has changed a bit. I am, as Linda said, responsible for artwork process and systems, and along with that, I'm responsible for color management. So that's why I'm here to talk to you today.
Thank you, Dennis. So a little bit about the agenda. We'll do a quick introduction of X-Rite and Alcon. Then Dennis will talk about Alcon's products and the struggle to control and manage color on their packaging, the strategy and the solution that were implemented to overcome these challenges. And then Dennis will share the results of the print quality program that was implemented at Alcon. We will have time for Q&A, and you can use the questions function to submit your questions during the webinar. And we will try to answer some of these questions at the end. Finally, this webinar will be recorded and you will receive a link via email after the webinar. That's it in terms of housekeeping. A quick introduction to Pantone and X-Rite. We bring together the art and science of color. From design to production, we ensure that your workflow is color optimized through customized integrated consulting services and color management tools. Our solutions focus on color specification, formulation, quality control, measurement of color for many different types of processes, actually anywhere where color is critical. We are active in a wide range of industries such as print and packaging, paints and coatings, automotive, plastics, and textiles. We understand the importance of color accuracy and consistency, especially in the packaging industry. We know how managing color can be a challenge for many brands, retailers, and designers. That's why we're excited that Dennis will be sharing his insights and experience in color management. Dennis, tell us a little bit about Alcon.
Certainly. So Alcon is a Texas-based headquartered company, been in business for 75 plus years, focused on eye care. And in 2022, we realized 8.7 billion in sales, and we serve over 140 countries around the world. So I'm really proud to work for and represent Alcon. So so here you can see kind of a cross section of our different products. So we have a wide array of surgical, ocular health products and contact lenses. We, as I said, serve over 140 countries. Millions of lives have been touched by Alcon products and services. We have the #1 rated surgical products, and we are the world's most trusted vision care producer. And, you know, we have a mission of advancing eye care around the world through grants and training as well.
Dennis, please share with us why keeping color accurate and consistent is important for Alcon.
Yeah, so like many med device companies and consumer product companies, it's really important to have a consistent look on shelf. So we want that entire product portfolio to look like it belongs together and it's consistent as the stocks get replenished. We want those products to look like they belong together on shelf and have a consistent look and feel. because color really is a primary factor on shelf, what drives people to recognize the product. It's kind of the first thing that people hone in on. And it's really important, you know, with all the different pack sizes and print methods that we have, a consistent method for keeping those colors aligned. And at the end of the day, really, you know, conveying trust and loyalty and consumer safety in our products. We want people to be able to pick up a product and know that it's authentic and that it's fresh and that it will do what it says it will do.
Totally makes sense. What were Alcon's struggles with color management?
Yeah, so for us, we had a small team that was managing color kind of in a antiquated way through color books, color standards, ink drawdowns, things like that. And that was really kind of an extension of the design team that was managing that. And when it was turned over to me, I took a fresh look at it and decided to try a different approach. And then that's when I started working with X-Rite with this program to move forward with that and kind of bring some sanity to the whole process and some consistency, something that can be measured. So we have a distributed manufacturing and sourcing model, 12 manufacturing sites with multiple suppliers at each. Some suppliers were consistently very good unto themselves, but it didn't really matter if, you know, that product was also being sourced by another print supplier. At the end of the day, all that matters is that they look the same on shelf and that they match. As I said, we were using a manual color book process, and we have a lot of things in our product portfolio, like foil board and various print methods. So trying to align all of those without having a system like this was really difficult, very time consuming, a lot of subjective judgments on color.
And obviously, the issue was mainly the impact on consumers. Please share with us, what was the impact of color inconsistency on your consumers?
Yeah, so for the consumers, I mean, like, you know, you have that first moment of truth when they pick up the product, and it needs to be clear that it's authentic and fresh and high quality. So that was the thing that, you know, we needed to have happen. But in reality, we had variation on shelf and differences from run to run. And so even if it wasn't on shelf, so say like with our contact lens products, where it's prescribed to the patient and the patient picks it up, it still ends up in the patient's hands. And so it's still very important that regardless of which site that was sourced from, it needs to appear the same in the customer's hands. So that was the challenge, and that, you know, we finally feel like we're there. So we've been able to achieve that, and it's been really great to turn that around.
And especially in the pharma industry, we know how important it is to make sure that consumers know that it's an authentic product and not a counterfeit, right?
Yes, for sure.
In terms of the strategy, please share with us what was the source of the problem?
Yeah, so we had, in some cases, we had physical color books that had over the years just drifted from the original target, and even the original target was probably a Pantone formula guide, so not something digital. It was very much a printed book. And so over time, you know, as each printing happened, you know, the color drifted a little bit further away from that original target, where, you know, eventually it no longer appeared like the original at all. So that was one of the challenges. And you know, especially during COVID, we had you know, restrictions on travel. We couldn't visit some of our suppliers. So like in the past where we would have done a supplier visit or a press check, that was really no longer possible. And then with just fewer resources and less time, we really didn't have the luxury of managing color the way that we had done in the past. We needed a more efficient method. So, and you know, this initiative really aligns with the rest of Alcon's initiative to digitize everything and really be as efficient as possible.
And that's, Dennis, when you realized that you had to automate a very manual process. So please share with us how has X-Rite Pantone's digital print quality program helped you with managing your color?
I think the number one thing is just clear evidence of the color quality. You know, you have a very simple pass-fail. So you have a threshold of acceptability and color tolerance. It's really simple from the supplier's side. So the supplier can see I'm on track or I'm off and I need to make this adjustment. So the software really does guide them in how to get the color where it needs to be. But then on the brand owner side, I'm able to see across the board how things are trending and help you know, make improvements over time. And you know, these metrics that are being uploaded to our scorecard server are available to those suppliers that are uploading them, so they can track and trend and see how they're doing over time themselves. It's helped improve time to market, honestly, because like I alluded to earlier, in the past, we would have to arrange for press test or press checks and manual approval of books, and all of those things just add to that, you know, that upfront lead time. So we've been able to shorten that quite a bit with this program. And basically, whether it's a new product launch or you know, just a reorder, the process is the same, and we don't have to deviate from that just because it's a new product launch. They follow the same process, matching Pantone Live all the way through. It's really been a huge improvement, and it really gives us a central library for the colors. So in the past, we would use Pantone formula guides, which are physical samples, physical color targets, but this digital reference library, what's so unique about it is it accommodates almost any print conditions. So if we're printing labels gravure, or if we're printing them flexa or offset, there's a library that accommodates that different print conditions. So that's something that's been really good for the printers, because they can confidently match that consistently from run to run. And it's given us that one-stop location for our color quality data. So we always go back to that scorecard server whenever it's a question or when we need to run reports to see how a supplier is doing. We have one place to go, and that's been a big improvement for us.
And can you please share the digital color management solutions that you use as part of the program?
So really the program consists of some key pieces of hardware and software, and it works together. And that's why we call it the Alcon Color Management Suite. That's our term for it, but it really consists of ColorCert, which is the software that coordinates the color targets, and the spectrophotometer, which is the measurement device. And along with that, there's another piece called Net Profiler that's used for keeping all of your fleet of devices centered on the digital target, and it helps to accommodate device drift over time. As those devices get older, this helps to bring those back in line. So that's really what it consists of. Yeah, so here you can see our basic flow and the devices and the pieces of software that we use on our side to set up those targets. In our design workflow, we use Pantone Live to automatically convert the Pantone targets to Pantone Live targets. So in other words, when one of our designers prints out a proof, it's automatically going to reflect what they will see on a press sheet. It's very, very close to what they would see in real life. So that's been something that we've made it very easy for the designers. They don't have to do anything other than just send it through a workflow, and it happens all in the background. And then from there, after the artwork is approved, it's released to the print suppliers. They use the same software and hardware that we do. And as they're running our products, they take measurements throughout the run, and then that gets uploaded to the scorecard server. And then from there, as a stakeholder, we can go in and see those results, and our QA centers can use those results to check incoming products against that. And here you can see kind of the scorecard server and all of the data that comes out of that. Really easy to follow, you know, how you've trended over time and where you need to make improvements.
And the fantastic results that you have, do share.
Yeah, for sure. So initially, like I said, we were using a manual process, and we had a lot of rejections and a lot of subjectivity and you know, a fair amount of disagreement with our suppliers. So what they deemed acceptable, you know, in a lot of cases wasn't acceptable to us. So we would have just massive rejections. I mean, 39%. But with this program, we were able to bring that down to 8%, and it's reduced from there because we're, even at the time that data was pulled, you know, we didn't have full alignment with all of our suppliers, which we do now. So that's, we're basically very much in sync now with our suppliers. So it's very much an exception to have a rejection now, because they see the same thing on their side that we're seeing on our side. When they print it and they score it, when we get it and we check it, you know, we see the same thing. And it's really improved the collaboration with our suppliers. It's helped them to become better printers. It's avoided a lot of waste along the way, a lot of print waste. And it's enabled our QA incoming groups to accept based on a certificate of conformity, and then just running spot checks based on the sampling plan. And it's eliminated, for the most part, press checks. I mean, that, you know, everyone loves to travel, but you know, reducing that cost was important. So that was another big thing, especially during COVID. We really weren't allowed to travel, so we had to lean very heavily on this program.
Wow, that's a reduction of over 30% in rejection. That's extremely impressive. Dennis, can you share a little bit about what we see on the screen?
Sure. So we started the program really small. We kind of, you know, wanted to make sure it worked. So we started small just to prove it worked, and then gain alignment with our stakeholders. So we kind of used it in tandem with our manual process, just to kind of sanity check. So when we were checking color, we would also run this program on it and see if it agreed with what we were seeing visually, which it ultimately did. I guess the only time that it didn't agree was when it was something in the yellow range, which it's funny, but you know, the human eye doesn't detect yellow as well as the spectrophotometer. So the yellow could be off and the eye wouldn't really detect that, whereas this device really would. So that was kind of interesting to learn along the way. But you know, one of the things that we did was we partnered with our procurement team and got their alignment and their buy-in and their support for the program, because ultimately they're the ones that are hiring the suppliers that they need to be behind the program. So that was really important. And then we started working with a few key suppliers just to kind of vet the approach, and we kind of adjusted the program before expanding it to our full supplier base. We worked on supplier agreements to help drive the program compliance. In other words, making it part of their quality arrangement or agreement with Alcon. So that was really important from a compliance standpoint. And we started small with regard to what we were capturing. So instead of trying to go for the whole thing, we started with just requiring solid measurements. So, and it was an attainable goal because they could pretty easily reformulate inks and get the solids where they needed to be. And then from there, we started increasing the requirements to include things like dot gain measurement, halftones, things like that. So that's that's how the program has kind of evolved over time. We started by providing job templates to the suppliers to kind of help get them started. And we didn't initially penalize them for failing scores, but we made it clear that they had to submit their data. So that's the way we started out. And then we, like I said, we slowly kind of increased the requirements as we went along.
Thank you for sharing that with us. These are great tips for anyone considering implementing a print quality program. So we received a lot of questions during the webinar. We're gonna pick a couple of them and just provide some answers as we go. One of the questions then is how did you manage to justify the investment and get an internal buy-in?
Yeah, so for us, it was really important to satisfy the requirements by our brand owners' expectations that color matched regardless of where it was sourced from. And so we needed to be able to protect our brand identity. And so from marketing's perspective, that was an easy justification. And also from procurement standpoint, just having that data to kind of be able to evaluate and measure print suppliers' performance over time. So it gave them one extra metric to be able to make those judgments. Whereas in the past, it was they only knew when there was a problem with color, when we complained. Whereas this is, giving them that data that they can pull from at any point and run reports and see exactly where any given supplier stands. And then just from my own management's side of things, just keeping a lid on travel cost, shipment, storage, all those things, this aligned nicely with all of those. And it was actually a pretty easy justification based on what we knew we had to do. Okay.
Next question then is, how has the program helped your suppliers?
I think it's helped them in regards to make ready time. So reduced make ready time, reduced waste, clear objective, pass fail. So they know exactly when they're printing something for us, they know if it's going to be accepted or not. So reduces some of that risk, and it just makes it more of a partnership than a give and take. It's really makes it clear from the outset what our expectations are.
Makes sense. And the last question we're going to take is, how long did it take to implement the program?
Yeah, so looking at that previous slide with the timeline, you look at 2017, it seems like a long time ago. But really, like I said, we started very small in 2017, and that was that was the point where we just initially got the equipment and the software and started testing it. But in 2018, we really started in earnest and started working on educating our suppliers. We selected a few key suppliers to pilot the project with, the program, and we just refined over time. But really, things really picked up in 2019, and then in 2020, we were thanking our lucky stars that we had the program in place, because it was really, I can't imagine what it would have been like without having this program, because we couldn't come on campus to check color standards. We didn't have ready access to those physical records, so that's when it really paid off and made it just obvious the value in the program. And 2021, 2022, we've been working with our QA sites on implementing this in their QA centers, so they can use this to spot check if there's a question on color, or just as part of their normal inspection process.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you so much for sharing Alcon's color management challenges and the benefits of X-Rite Pantone's digital print quality program. Thank you for being a great customer and a partner. We appreciate you being here, sharing all the tips and tricks and your experience.
Thank you for having me.
For our audience, if you'd like to learn more, please visit our website, where you can learn about our consulting offerings for brands and how other brands are finding success with the digital print quality program. You have my contact information on the screen. Feel free to reach out if you want to discuss any part of the program. Thank you for joining us, and see you on the next webinar. Bye-bye.